My name is Hanley. I played basketball at Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine, and graduated in 2012. And I've been playing pro basketball for the past 8 seasons now. In Europe for 6 of them, Japan, and then Uruguay this past year, South America. Going to some camps, probably my sophomore year, junior year, just doing the normal small recruiting camps in the Northeast. And from there, it was just getting letters from people. My high school coach was trying to help out as much as he could. He would, I think he would send some full game tapes to people, but nothing spectacular. And Bowdoin ended up being the one school that really wanted me. So there was a bunch of probably good D3 basketball schools that were interested, but nothing. There was some Ivy League interest, but nothing developed out of those ones. And really just Bowdoin was a school that really wanted me, and I felt like I could fit in there. And it was a good team. I went up there for a visit, played with the team, stayed for the night. Just seemed like a good place to go, and it was a great academic school, so I chose that path, and I committed early my senior season. So before senior year, I committed to Bowdoin. They were calling me more than I was trying to get in touch with them, kind of deal. So I remember a school like Middlebury was one I was also interested in, and I didn't feel the same desire from them as I wanted to go there. So the Bowdoin coach and the assistant coach would call me every day and just really be on me and trying to get me up there and just trying to get me excited about Bowdoin, and they did a good job of that. From the beginning, I was an impact player, I'd say. I think my first year I was the 6th man on the team and getting probably 15 minutes a game. But the team we were never great. The NESCAC's a tough conference. For D3, it's probably one of the better conferences. And I think we only won one playoff game, which was my freshman year in the NESCAC tournament. And I never made the NCAA tournament. So I'd say we were middle of the pack in the NESCAC. So my encore career was good. I had good numbers, obviously, but as a team, we never really won that much. We won our regular season games, but nothing come playoff time. And that's why the NESCAC and D3 to play basketball there is an awesome opportunity for when you stop playing basketball, because eventually that day's coming. I always had an idea that I wanted to go play in Europe there's so many leagues over there, it seems like, and you can kind of break in on any country, and you just have a year or two of enjoying it, and maybe try to get a master's degree while I'm over there or something. But I majored in econ while at Bowdoin. And to be honest, I've always thought about basketball, and I thought of econ as academics were super important and where I wanted to go, because I knew that in the long term that's where I was going to be useful rather than a basketball player. But basketball was always in the forefront, and playing professionally for a couple of years, and then figure it out after that. I had a coach. He was my assistant coach my junior and senior seasons, Abe Boldeslassie. He's now the head coach at McAllister College. And he's just the ultimate workhorse, and he'll do anything for anyone and just take the shit off his back kind of guy. And he ended up making me highlight tapes, putting together full game tapes, making me a whole resume of my achievements at Bowdoin. And he sent them out to 50, 100 agents, just 100 agencies, and see who stuck on it. And probably a handful of guys wrote back with some interest, but one guy ended up being the guy that really wanted me kind of deal, and said he can really help me out, and I stuck with him, and I've been with him ever since. I've been with him for 8 years now, the same agency, Emilio Duran. But Abe Boldeslassie was the guy who really helped me out. He's I think a lot of his guys have been D3, D2 guys.
Nice.
And puts them in Europe and see how they do. Starting me off, his whole thing was if you start off in a country where basketball is pretty big, like Spain or France or Germany or something, you'll have a better shot at having a longer career than if you go to a like Sweden, or, not to ruin any of the league, but like a lower level league where there's no like upward mobility kind of. So I started in the third league in Spain, and the idea was if I play well there, I can go to the second league, and if I play well there, I can go to the first league. So just a place where you can make a name for yourself, and then as the years go on, you can have a steady career somewhere, rather than taking maybe a little bit more money and going to a lesser league, a lesser basketball known country. So I started in Spain, and he was the one who put me there, and he's from the city that I ended up playing my first year in. My game is kind of work hard and just do the little things kind of deal. And I think that translated over there in that, like, there's guys in this league, in the third league in Spain, were bigger and stronger probably, but I think my work ethic, put me over the edge, and I think I had a great opportunity when the American, he was a Canadian guy, they brought in like as their main guy, and I was like the lower level guy. He got injured in the first month, so I ended up filling his spot, and from there I started playing well in the first few games, and then kind of took off, and I ended up being MVP of for my first season in Spain of the league. Yeah, it's like, what the hell's going on? Because, I don't know, you're on your own now, and you're in Spain, no one's speaking English, and you kind of gotta, I mean, you still have the team aspect in that you go there and you have people you know because of the team, and, which is great about playing college basketball too, is you know people automatically, there's no like breaking in on it. But so you land there, you got your suitcase, and they bring you to where you're living. They do all that stuff for you. I ended up living with two other teammates my first year, and honestly, the first few months were difficult in that the coach was like super hard. We would go to the track every morning and run sprints and laps, and it was serious. I've never had a coach that hard yet in these 8 years. The first year was for sure the hardest coach. Doing like 1-on-1 full court drills, 2-on-2 full court, 3-on-3 full court, and then you eventually get to 5-on-5. And he had a policy: no water during practice. Yeah, he's that kind of guy. When I played my first season, I was making like very, very low amount of money. I was making 300 euros per month. So that's like not livable. So they give you a restaurant where you can have lunch and dinner every day. I'd bring like a little Spanish learning book and just try to learn the language, because no one on my team really spoke English either. So that first season was pretty much where I learned Spanish, and it was great to have that as like have that as a tool for the next little while. But I would eat that restaurant twice a day, every day. It was a lot. It was a pizza place. It was a Italian restaurant. How it works is that the first team in the league, whoever finishes first in the regular season, automatically goes up to the second league for the next season. So we didn't have to play the playoffs, and then the second team obviously plays the playoffs. But so our season ended like probably a month and a half early. So my agent was trying to get me on teams for the end of that season, and ended up getting me to Valencia, which was in the ACB, the first league. So I was there for 2 months at the end of their season, while just kind of filling in for guys who were injured. So going from Bowdoin D3 to where there was no fans, pretty much, to Oviedo, where there's pretty much no fans, to the ACB in Valencia. And Valencia is one of the biggest clubs in the ACB in the first league. And my first game was against Barcelona, at Barcelona, and like one of the best teams in Europe. And it was just like quite the experience and quite the eye-opening scene for me. Like, I've never played in front of more than 1,000 people probably. I think there was like 8,000 at the game. Yeah, it was pretty, and it was just kind of just thrown right into it. I finished the season with Oviedo. A week later, I'm in Valencia, and there I go, yeah. The Spanish league is known as the second best league, domestic league outside the NBA. So the Spain league in general. So we were playing teams from other leagues across Europe. So we were doing pretty well during the regular season. against some lower level teams in other countries. But once the playoffs come for that, it's like every team is a big money team, a big time team. And we had an awesome team that year. A lot of really, really good players who have done great things after that year in Tenerife. And we ended up hosting the Final Four in Tenerife for the playoffs, and we won the championship. So it was pretty awesome, pretty cool. Probably my best memory as a basketball player was that season in general, and then winning that championship. I had some friends growing up who could have played D3 basketball but chose to go to a bigger school for whatever reason. I don't know. I think you just get a different experience when you play a sport at a school, especially if you can use that sport to get you into a better academic school than you could have gotten into on your own. You can kind of leverage that and turn that into a degree from a school that's one of the top schools in the world, and really use that post basketball, because if you're going D3, you're likely not going to be a pro for. You're not going to be a pro for that's making a lifetime's worth of money, and you can retire after that. So either way, that degree is going to be useful. Whether it's, for me, it's whatever, 8 years down the line, 10 years down the line, or right after school, that degree is useful no matter what. So I think D3 really gives you that opportunity to use basketball as a tool to get into a great academic school and use the academics for your entire life. After I went to Portugal for my 6th season, my agent called and said, I've been connecting with some Japanese teams. Would you think about that? Would you entertain that? And I said, maybe. I'd say maybe if the money was right, I'd say yes, absolutely. So he ended up presenting me with a pretty good contract, and I said, all right, let's go to Japan. And so that experience was, when I arrived there off the plane, I spoke no Japanese, obviously. There was a monsoon going on at the airport. So my flight, I was supposed to go to a city called Yamagata, which is like 3 hours north of Tokyo. I flew into Tokyo in the monsoon, and my flight to Yamagata was canceled. So the team manager, I kind of didn't know what to do at that point. So I texted the team manager, and he said, "Okay, we got you a train ticket. You're gonna go to downtown Tokyo, get the train to Yamagata in this monsoon." So I had 2 huge suitcases, a big bag, a big backpack, and I'm just like, there's no English anywhere once you get out of the airport, and I'm thinking like, what's going on here? And so I make it down to the train station, and I think I just look confused, and probably like a 15, 20-year-old kid came up to me and spoke a little English and said, like, "Do you need help? You look like you have no idea what's going on." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I'm trying to get a train to Yamagata." So he ended up taking my train ticket, going over to the turnstile and swiping me in, and telling me what train to go stand at and what car to go on and the whole deal. So he really helped me out. When I was a senior in college, I knew that it would have been beneficial to get my Irish passport. My grandma was from Ireland, so I had the connection to get it. If I was 2 generations removed from her, I could get mine. And I knew that in a lot of teams in Europe, there's 2 import player rule. So you have 2 non-European citizens on the team. So when I got the Irish passport, I would now be considered as a European guy. So I wouldn't take up one of those 2 spots, which would a lot of times be reserved for like Division 1 players, or like really, I don't know, big time Division 2 players even. So I was able to get that passport my senior year, and I would use that to, when I was connecting with agents, and tell them that I could get my Irish passport. A lot of agents became a lot more interested once I got that. So I would say, as a suggestion to kids coming out of college, try to find a way to get not an Irish passport, get a European passport, or a passport that isn't from America, to really open up your chances and maybe get a better opportunity than you would have had. At first, it's a big thing to leave your family and leave leave there. I think the first few months are definitely difficult, and that you just want to be talking to your family all the time, talking to your friends, talking to your girlfriend, maybe girlfriend, just connecting to everyone. I think as you go, you realize that you can still connect with them while you're over there virtually, FaceTime, it's very easy to do. And then you also make you kind of have a new life over there. You make new friends over there. You adapt to the culture if you want to, I guess. I think it just becomes easier as you go. It becomes more normal. Going somewhere for 10 months, coming back for 2 months, 3 months, going somewhere for 9 months, coming back for 3 months. I think it becomes normal at some point. Not having like a home base is a little bit of a thought in my mind, and at some point I want to have a home base where I can call something home. But I enjoy kind of moving around and seeing new cultures and being away from family and friends is a thing that's difficult, but I think I've learned to adapt to it. And it even makes the summer months when you're home that much more special. As well as, I know my family wants me to keep playing basketball as long as I can because they love coming to visit me in all these countries. So it gives them a reason to come over to Europe or Uruguay or Japan, wherever, and see another place that they've never been to. I think just if you're interested in playing pro basketball, or I guess D3 basketball to start, I would highly suggest it in that it'll really help you out in the long term, having those connections and being able to go to a great academic school that otherwise you might not be able to get into. So I would highly suggest playing D3 basketball and then obviously playing pro. And even if it's for a year or two, you really experience something else and see what it's like to play pro basketball is a pretty cool thing for me. And luckily, I've been able to do it for a little longer. But I think if you do a year or two, it's still a great experience all around.